Everyone wants to know the quick fix for cinematic video, and there are tons of videos out there on this topic, but I'm going to cut through the fluff and give you the 5 must for cinematic video to get you on the right track. And make sure to stay till the end to get the bonus tip that will trump everything else. Number 1, use an expensive camera. To make good cinematic films, the first thing you'll need is a really expensive camera, even if you can't afford it. Or maybe the most expensive one that your spouse will let you get. Number 2, a low aperture lens for a shallow depth of field. And the trick is to always use it at the lowest aperture to have the most blur in your shot, even if that means you can't keep your subject in focus while you or the subject's moving. Number 3, shoot in the automatic settings on your camera. You see, expensive cameras are made to be smarter than us and are designed to automatically give cinematic footage when in auto. So make sure you go into the menus and change any manual settings to automatic to give you the best cinematic footage. Number 4, use a gimbal. Movement will automatically make any type of shot more cinematic, so be sure to get a gimbal and use it for every shot in your films. And finally, use drone footage in your films. Because if you want to have good establishing shots, then you have to use a drone or else your audience will get bored and think your film is amateur. Alright, I hope you realize that this was a joke and hopefully you aren't too mad about it, but there are a lot of people that think this way and it isn't until you say it out loud that it actually sounds kind of silly. First off, the type of camera you use will definitely make a difference in your videos up to a certain point. Expensive cinema cameras will give much better image quality than a DSLR based on better color sampling, higher recording bit rates, and many other factors, but an expensive cinema camera in the hands of a beginner will probably produce no better results than an iPhone. And actually an iPhone would probably end up working out better for them. Second, depth of field will make a huge difference in your videos on what you can do with your images and storytelling, but it seems like when people get their first low aperture lens that they always use the lowest aperture setting for everything they shoot, and that's really just not the best way to tell a story. And I've also done this as well, but when you're making a film, you need to think about your shots and see what would benefit from a shallow depth of field and which shots would work a whole lot better with a deep depth of field. Third, auto settings are going to kill your filmmaking, whether that's auto aperture, shutter speed, ISO, or white balance. And you need to be able to understand what all these settings do and how to use them properly to best tell your story while still giving you the best image quality you can get. Fourth, gimbals are great and I love using them, but a lot of beginners tend to think they need a lot of fancy equipment before they can start filming something to make sure it looks good. I used to think this way, and it is a great way to get nothing done because you're always waiting to get something else. For example, using a gimbal in this scene wouldn't make much sense because movement isn't needed. And finally, drones can add a great touch to your films by adding a point of view that people don't normally see, but you don't need one for your films to be good. Just think about how to best tell your story, and if a drone shot fits in with that, then cool, go ahead and use it. I did use a drone for this establishing shot in one of my films, but I also used this as my initial establishing shot for my last film, and both shots work well for each video. So I hope this opened your eyes to the fact that there's not one thing you can do to make your footage look more cinematic. Instead, it's understanding how to use your camera in a variety of situations to better tell a story. And to better understand these techniques, feel free to join my private Facebook group linked below where I can better answer those filmmaking questions. And if this video is helpful, please help me out by leaving a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you soon.